Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel with a little bit of information that everyone suspected, but we now have proof. Before I get to that, as you can see, the lighting is a little bit off in here today. That is because we are in yet another power outage. No, it has nothing to do with the wildfires that are going around, thanks to the folks who asked about that. It's just a windstorm that's been going on for like 4 days. So luckily, I still have a little bit of natural light, and we're gonna hope for the best. Now, as for the story at hand, you can't seem to be on social media these days, especially gun Reddit, without seeing accusations of glowies in the comments or a nice try, Fed boy. We all knew that the Alphabet Boys were lurking, and now GOA has confirmed it. It's a little shocking that the ATF even bothers, frankly, after so many of us lost our guns in tragic boating accidents, and clearly we are terrible boat drivers, but I don't know, they gotta flex that budget somehow. So how did GOA figure this all out? Well, they filed a Freedom of Information request to the DOJ regarding the ATF's investigatory use of the internet, and believe it or not, they actually got an answer. A 104-page answer, if you can believe it. I definitely did not expect that much information when I opened up the document because the ATF likes to not answer questions. Now, the doc outlines the standard operating procedures, or SOP, for the Internet Investigation Center. According to the doc, the IIC mandate is to monitor, capture, and analyze social media websites for information that indicates a significant public safety threat to the public at large. The IIC utilizes open source and commercially available datasets to monitor, capture, and analyze social media information across multiple social media platforms. The procedure is, more or less, to lurk across various social media platforms with a list of things the ATF considers to be threat indicators. Download and screenshot any post with those parameters, then decide if the threat is credible, non-credible, or likely to become credible. If a threat is found credible, they contact the social media platform to get the user's identifying data. Though, according to their little flowchart, even non-credible threats continue to be monitored. Now, before I get into where they're lurking and what all this lurking has found, beyond a bunch of people gleefully shitposting the ATF on the internet, this video is brought to you by Home Title Lock. Did you know that American homeowners have over $32 trillion in equity? And criminals are targeting it with a growing scam the FBI calls house stealing. Scammers can transfer your title out of your name using a one-page document they file at the county, then they can take out loans against it or even sell it behind your back. And the scariest part is that you won't even find out about it until collection or foreclosure notices start arriving in your mailbox, leaving you with a financial and legal nightmare. The best way to protect your equity is with Home Title Lock's exclusive $1 million triple lock protection. This service offers 24/7 monitoring, urgent alerts, and if fraud should occur, their US-based restoration team will spend up to $1 million to fix the fraud and restore your title. It's basically like one of those credit monitoring companies, but for your house. So, when was the last time that you checked on your title? If you're like me, the answer is never, because I didn't even know that this was a thing. That is why I have partnered with Home Title Lock to offer you all a chance to make sure that you are not already a victim. So go to HometitleLock.com/LibertyDoll and you can use promo code LD250 to get a free title history report so you can find out if you're already a victim and access to your personal title expert, a $250 value when you sign up. And make sure to check out $1 million triple lock protection details when you get there. So what has the ATF found? It's spelled out in a convenient key findings page on page 7. Namely that there's no federal laws banning internet sales, which I would expect them to know, seeing as they are the law enforcement agency behind firearm sales, that there are 0 FFLs selling guns on what they call the dark web and dark net, and what they consider dark will make you laugh in a minute, but that there are also some people who fall under the ATF's previous engaged in the business rule conducting private in-person sales, which are also not illegal. And completely as I would expect, quote, dark web sales are most often already used guns, contrary to popular gun control narrative. And typically also done by criminals and not law-abiding citizens. Not a shocking revelation. The document spends a significant amount of time spelling out that FFL sales, private in-person sales, and internet sales are all perfectly legal, though it's clear in the doc that they don't like these facts. Then we get to the sources that they actually monitor for alleged shady dealings, which are Facebook, ARFCOM, The Truth About Guns, which apparently has a forum, and CalGuns. In their explanation of their social media monitoring, they also mention Reddit, open and closed Facebook groups, Twitter, and Instagram. The ATF labels these as the deep web. I feel like there is some kind of joke in there, but I am not witty enough to be the one to make it. Oh, you know what? The doc complains that the anonymity of the internet, along with the legality of private sales, unless a prohibited person is involved, makes it hard for them to track and crack down on the secondary market. Oh, so terrible. The document also complains of a lack of state law around many of these sales, which the ATF says allows people to dodge accountability, and they complain of the lack of background checks for personal transfers. The doc also says receiving an invitation to participate and maintaining active participation in these online groups will remain a substantial challenge, which is proof enough that they are already attempting it with some success. Now, these are only the groups and social media spots that they're admitting to. In the letter accompanying this doc release, it flat out says that a lot of the stuff was excluded due to national security issues and the like. Deeper in the doc, there is mention of illegal YouTube tutorials, for example. It mentions that homemade firearms for private use are, again, perfectly legal, but warns against people organizing, quote, AR build parties on the dark web. The deep dark web. They say that they're monitoring these platforms like Reddit and social media sites on the hunt for illegal sales, but how many criminals are really facilitating illegal transfers on Reddit and Facebook? I know that at one point in time there were groups on Facebook allegedly doing this, and I had seen one or two posts myself, but those posts were sketchy, and I only saw them maybe twice total in all the Massachusetts gun groups I was in when I still lived there, and I was in these groups for years. All the other sales posts said, hey, I have XYZ, but we're doing it the Massachusetts way of going through an FFL or entering everything on this dumb little state website. Because that was the law, and for the most part, law-abiding gun owners are exactly that, and have no interest in the cops or ATF showing up at their door. We do not want our dogs to die. Law-abiding gun owners have no interest in being raw-dogged by the ATF because of something they found on the deep web. As for the other platforms, it is zero surprise to me that the ATF would be lurking around Reddit. I mean, we all knew they were in there. I didn't know that The Truth About Guns had a forum, but the other sites the ATF lists and tries to label as so-called deep web shady places are pretty well known to anyone in the gun community that has spent more than a couple of minutes on the internet. And need I remind you all that while the ATF is sitting around and reading your comments on Facebook, YouTube, Reddit, and ARFCOM, they also supplied tons of firearms to the Mexican drug cartels under Obama. Again, they gotta fluff that budget somehow. And in many cases involving illegal guns and gun sales, it's not the ATF that make the arrests, it's local law enforcement, and the charges typically stay under local law enforcement. Honestly, the most shocking thing to me isn't even in the document itself, but the write-up by Tom Knighton over at Bearing Arms. I had no idea that the ATF actually has a booth at SHOT Show. That is it for this video, ladies and gentlemen, and glowies from the ATF down in the comments. Hello, I see you. You guys know the drill for all of the algorithm things. Please do them. And as always, thanks for tuning in. Stay safe out there and happy shooting. And make sure to go boating this weekend.